proven when we step into our imagination and to the creative flow, we increase our happiness. When we express emotions creatively, or any way we express emotions, we stimulate our immune system. Feelings, creativity is a free place to feel it all, and feelings initiate thoughts. So expressing them makes us healthier. Having feelings makes us smarter. That's, smart comes from having thoughts. And the wonder of having the creative reverie, the contemplative time to process those thoughts, we can even come to understanding and wisdom. How about that? So today, we're going to share what I've done on the last couple live streams. Bodhi's going to continue his bird on a branch, and he's going to do his first painting of a bird ever. And to show you that anybody and everybody has creativity, has an imagination, and we can enjoy expressing it, especially if we give ourselves the permission to enjoy the process. Play. It's not that we're not competing with anyone. We are expressing ourselves because we get to, and we get to enjoy the process and all its benefits. So last live stream, he did his first bird drawing. Today, he's going to do his first bird painting. But before he comes out and we show you that with the overhead camera so you can get a close-up of him doing it, here's my piece I call Little Bird, Big Flower. And he's going to show you a little bit over a minute time lapse of me doing it. Are you ready for that? Go for it. Okay, well, obviously this is sped up, and I love the combination of paints, acrylic paints, watercolor paints, pencils, Sumi ink. I combine them any way I feel like. Nobody but me, the artist, is making the rules. So I get to do it the way I like. Prismacolor pencils are water soluble, so they work really well with watercolors. Acrylics also have their benefits. This is Sumi ink, the black. The white will be an acrylic white, and the blue in this blue-gray gnatcatcher bird was Prismacolor pencils. So like a lot of my work, like my first published work, The Book of Cranes, is a combination of watercolor and Prismacolor. So we saw that. We can move on to this. In the set here today is my Four Seasons scroll paintings. And this, you could maybe get a little closer up. I think they call that a close-up. I am chronically creative, so I combine a lot of words. Maybe they'd call me dyslexic if they tested me, but I don't feel the need to get tested because I'm happy and healthy. So I call it chronically creative. I often combine two words, sometimes three. So this landscape, it was a test of the four seasons: winter, spring, summer, and autumn. The four primary colors: blue, green, yellow, red. The four types of elements: winter, air; spring, water; summer, earth; autumn, fire. And four different types of sky: a night snowy sky, a morning rainy sky, a midday sun rainbow sky, and then the lightning sky. So that was a test. And then these 4 scrolls that I'm going to work on after Bodhi does his bird, I've had up for a while. I like to take perspective breaks. I love subtle, I love minimalism, but these kept saying to me as I passed them where they hung upstairs that they wanted more colors. So the 4 primary colors, 1 color for each season, blue, green, yellow, red, I'm going to add in front of you today with watercolor. These watercolors dried out. We had a move from California, a year in an RV to choose where to move to, and then we got this grand old home that needed a lot of maintenance, which is why a couple of artists could afford it. We did it all ourselves, and we've been putting these live streams out there. Bodhi's channel, Bodhi the Movie Maker, his YouTube channel. We've both written books, so we've been busy. And my watercolor paints dried out in their tubes. So I have a try not to waste anything policy in life. So I cut them open. I scoop them into these dishes, these palette dishes, and rehydrated them. So no waste, and that makes me very happy. So before I put the color, 1 color in each of the seasons in front of you, Bodhi's gonna do his bird with Sumi. He chose it. He's making the creative decisions. I'm helping him, I'm guiding him on how to do that. And I love helping other people, which is why I'm doing these live streams, feel more at ease to play with their imaginations, to express their creativity. It really makes me happy. When I saw Bodhi's first bird drawing, I felt, well, it reminded me of my mother. When she got out of the hospital after nearly expiring coronary, she had a respiratory arrest and coronary arrest. And when she got out of the hospital, the first thing she wanted to do was come out to Golden Gate Park, where we lived close to there at the time. She lived with me, and she wanted to see me dance on skates. And every time I spun or did some sweeping gliding motion, I'd look at her and she'd have this elated expression on her face. And I said to her, you know, when I spin, you look elated. And she said, I am, dear. Well, I have that too. When Bodhi did his first bird, I felt as much joy as when I do art and it pleases me. And it doesn't matter if it's my mother or my son or someone I've just met. I feel happy whenever I help people to express their creativity. So hopefully these episodes, these live streams help you. And thank you to the Minnesota State Arts Board. Is that who I got this grant from? For this grant to be able to do these live streams. And there's going to be 20 in this series, and I don't keep count very well, but I think this is number 4. So we're going to do a lot more beautiful work in front of you.
Right. And Jan Margot became a member of your Patreon.
Thank you, Jan. That's really lovely. And it is extremely heartwarming to meet people, as we met Jan when Bodhi was a little boy in Norway, and beautiful internet, the positive social media aspect of the internet, keeping connected with people even across the world. So thank you, Jan, for staying in touch and becoming a member. I really appreciate that. So are we ready for this overhead?
Ready when you are.
Okay.
So That's going to be big, and then we'll be down in the corner small.
Dandy.
See the art.
Okay. So I don't know how much can they see all this?
Okay, I'll get it where you can.
That maybe the whole tabletop?
You can position your hands and get an idea.
Great. Okay, so I just like to show people the tools as well as the process.
All of the tools and materials are linked in the YouTube video description. So go check out this live stream on YouTube if you want the affiliate links.
Okay, so we have Sumi in here in watercolor blacks and grays. We have a little water dish, and the camera is not quite picking up all of it, but I have my container of different size brushes, so everything is close by, including paper towels right behind us if we need it. So this I love because it has the little come to a point.
As a channel which helps your brush come to a
Point.
fine point.
And here in this one, we have the Sumi that we're going to rehydrate in there. And here we have the test strip, show them that.
So we're gonna, yeah, that'd be great to do a little test so I can feel confident with how it's gonna work.
Right. So I highly recommend, no matter how much experience you have or don't have, that you do tests, because different brushes, different mediums. Sumi is very intense when it's thoroughly mixed, but you can also add enough water so that it gets very gray from its deep black. So I suggest, can they see that? Yes. Dip into that and then bring it up here. So it's now got a lot of it out of the brush, and we can see that's very gray. So we're going to go into the deep part of the Sumi, and there we go. So that's the difference. So I like to start with a little brush, like to suggest a little brush.
Yeah.
So that your okay. Now, so what you can do first, it would be outline, and right inside where you have drawn the bird, right where you have the pencil line, right inside, not on the outside, but right inside, go ahead and draw some lines.
I'm starting really gray so that I can be confident. Barely even visible, which is fine with me.
Yeah, because you can always get more pigment, can always get the color more saturated, but if you go dark, I call it, losing the light, that sometimes can be a problem to correct. But acrylic paint, as you saw at the end of my bird, when I put the white around the eye and the light dot in the center of the bird's eye, I did that with acrylic, which can neatly be on top of watercolors. So it's gives you some flexibility. We don't have to worry about making mistakes. But filling it in gently, as Bodhi is doing, is really a wise idea. Go slowly and enjoy being patient with it. Enjoy the meditative quality of creating.
It is very calming.
It is. And many people throughout my life have, you know, remarked my creativity and how many different creative forms I express myself in, and how prolific, and, you know, all those very complimentary things, which make me uncomfortable to repeat myself because, well, you know, it sounds like I'm impressed with myself, but I am impressed with that. When the judge said, "How did she turn out so nice? Her story's like the women on death row." That's when I realized the people that told me I should write my memoir, um, I thought, well, you know, maybe I can help people, because sharing what helped me get through my adversity is universal. We all have adversity, and uh, incandescence is what my mother said in a note. Did you know you have inner incandescence? Which we all do. And Incandescence Rising Above Darkness became the title for my memoir, because what I want to share with people is what helped me, and that is creative reverie, finding the beauty and balance in nature and meditating on that. Now, I would suggest that just water in your brush and fan it out so you're getting a shading which gives you more water, more, that's fine. And then you don't want to let that'll work. More water.
Then what? Where?
I'm suggesting that you bring that down so that it's like shaded. There you go. There you go. So shading gives us more water, a sense of shape, three-dimensionality instead of flat.
It's very saturated. The brush got super saturated.
You can shake it out a little in the water to get, there you go. There you go. And then fill that whole space in with, and feather that edge, meaning around the eye where it's starting to.
I haven't really gotten the paint very close to the eye yet.
No, but it's still giving it shape to feather it out, meaning there's a part that is got a lot of Sumi, and there's the part that has a lot of water, so it gives it a, you know, when light hits a curved surface, there's part that's darker. Even if it's one color, there's a part that's darker and a part that's lighter, and there's a gradient. So go ahead and fill out in the whole space with water, and then you can decide if you want to tip a little more pigment.
Look at that. It's got some brown in it.
Could be from the last paint job, but that's all right.
Yes.
Didn't get totally cleaned out. Shake it out, and there's some more, and that's all right, because you'll just give it a little more character. All right, now I would suggest that maybe you want to get some intense black around the eye and then shade it on out with the water.
Okay.
Okay, now shake it in there, and now water it.
It does kind of dry into the material pretty quick, but
yeah, that's working nice. Now you want to
Yeah, like
I would suggest some fine lines in the tail, and then some real grays. Well, the legs can be black or deep gray. There you go. Nice. Nice control, nice moving with the brush. And, you know, go ahead.
the legs.
Sure. Nice. Pick your hand straight up because you just put your hand on the part that might have been wet, but it's okay. It's no big deal. So I would suggest you give that birdie some toes that he's hanging on with, because that's what gives him the ability to stand on a curved surface with confidence. He's got those nice toes, and maybe there's one or two toes that come on this side. That's up to you, the artist. But I try to imagine being the bird.
Yeah, kind of giving 3 toes on this side. Oops.
That's all right. They generally have 3 in the front,
yeah,
and 1 in the back. So that's
we'll give him one over the back.
That's all good. All right, nice. Now, while you are having this delicate, I would give the feathers a nice little curve, little curving caps at the end.
So that they come to curved tips?
Yes, like a feather. Nice. Nice.
Okay.
And then this guy needs some lines and some
point.
The wing feathers are generally come to a more of a point than the tail feathers come to more of a curve. So I'm sure there's a lot of flexibility in that, since there are 10,000 species of birds on our planet. I wonder if there are birds on the other places in the universe. I hope so. Maybe I should do a collection of birds I imagine out there in other solar systems. Since we have, what, 1 billion stars in our galaxy, and there's 1 billion galaxies. I'm making up these numbers, but they're pretty close to accurate. The chances that there's life out there is, you know, why wouldn't there be? I think it's human hubris to think life is only on Earth. Why wouldn't there be life in other places? And I'd like to see the birds on other planets. So maybe I'll
make them.
Yeah. I have spent, when I first fell in love with drawings, I drew every day for 5 years. And then my first watercolor depth, now let's give the beak. Yeah, well, do what you want to do, but that's a good place you were going there.
Yeah, I find myself, because I don't want to mess it up, I'm reverting to my pencil comfort zone.
That's fine. That's fine. One of the things I learned through Sumi brushstroke being my first painting discipline is to breathe through the stroke, release as I'm holding our breath can, make us tense. So like a martial art, we want to exhale as we do the stroke. It's looking beautiful. Okay, so now we want some curving in the body. So let's give you some
Bigger or water?
Yes. More water so it's grayer and subtle. And then
So it's kind of in this where I've got
yes,
the shading.
and you can give yourself permission to turn your work in the right direction for your hand. I would suggest when you're, I'm not going to do it, I'm just going to show you that when you're doing this side, maybe you want to go this way.
Okay, kind of the direction of the feathers.
Yes.
There's not a lot of pigment.
Mm-hmm. And if you're using the Suzuri, the Sumi ink in the stone, the Suzuri stone, the further you go from the pool of ink, the less of the Sumi you're getting.
Right.
And do remember, in my opinion, there is no, well, copying other people's art, that could be cheating. But there's ways in which that's fine too. So there are no absolutes. And
how do you feel about people copying your art to get practice?
dandy, go right ahead. And that's actually, like, I'm wearing this, we'll show it after, this stencil designed shirt, which I try to wear for every live stream, something I've stenciled, and my stencils are on my Patreon for any of the $5 a month members. They get them for free, no extra cost, or you can get them for what, $3 a piece on the internet. And there's 18 flowers up, and the next thing that's coming are the 22 warblers and wildflowers, and then there'll be cranes, and then there'll be whatever's next. I've done many.
How are we looking?
Good. I would say he needs some curving here. So, but don't go too far with it. Just a little bit of curving, meaning instead of a line, you want it to gradient out. Get a...
See if I know what you're, let's see if I'm seeing what you're talking about.
Well, it starts black and gets dark gray and then light gray pretty quickly to give it the sense of curving.
Like that's the outside of the body, and then it gets lighter.
Yes,
it goes in this
that's
direction.
correct.
So start by making this outer line a bit.
A little bit thicker, and you can feather like you're doing. You're using the brush with little tiny strokes instead of big ones. That's fine. And now I would get water while you've got some pigment there that you can spread in this direction. And come inside that line.
Ironically, the water made it all the kind of sharp, made it darker. So I'm maybe gonna go on the outside of the line, and then we'll do what you're saying, which is just get it really wet so it's not as dark.
There we go. And just stay on this side of the line with the water, and it'll spread into the water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I would say that it probably is a good time for what I call the perspective break. So, and I like to do the eye last. It's a tradition I've talked about before because I heard a master Chinese painter say that, you know, that when you do the eye, it comes alive and it flies off the page, which I just think is really kind of beautiful. So what I'm going to do now is for the perspective break, let's put this on, let's put this over here.
Wow. Thank you, Joni. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So hopefully seeing somebody do their first, can you come over here and help me for a sec? Well, yes, I got it. Never mind. Their first bird painting. Look at that. And next live stream, he's going to probably finish it because a perspective break is almost always a good idea. So we're gonna take that good idea, and I'm gonna prepare for the next phase here. When you've got the camera set, it'd be really nice if you would bring the red color dish and then the autumn.
You mean
Autumn.
the autumn painting? Yes.
So this is,
It's not on.
oh, okay, well, that's all right. It's all right. So here's the autumn leaf colors, and here's the painting that's going to. So what we're gonna do is get a big clip from the office so this doesn't go crashing. I got it. And I'm gonna pick my brushes for this next.
Put some big clips here.
Good catch. We do say so ourselves. No, that's good enough. That's not gonna crash. Good. All right. So what I'm gonna do is this showing the whole thing.
Take a peek over here.
Does it come all the way down to here? This is the part I'm gonna work on, so.
Okay. Well, I can adjust the camera.
Good.
And I can also make that bigger.
So what I'm going to do next with this is I'm going to take the color I want and put some of it in here. And I'm going to start.
Is it easy for you to see?
Yes. I'm going to start with it fairly subtle.
Do you want another stool?
I think I'm good.
What about like just a piece of protective put over, so like maybe your glass? Does that glass have paint on it, and you could have at least a working surface?
I'm pretty good at this by now.
All right.
So thank you for being protective of my art. I think it's very reassuring and flattering and all of that, but I don't think I need it.
Okay.
So I think I need it to put some of the water where I want this pigment. And then water again. And the feeling I'm going for here which is far more my style, is to get things to feel like what I want instead of necessarily look like. Even though it's visual art, I'm going for a feeling of the autumn river of red. And I'm trying to make it dappled as a maple forest would have, places of intense red and places of subtle red. And I want the river to kind of go all the way off the page. Even though it's not really a page, it's a scroll painting on giclée fabric, which, Bodhi, you can tell them about these materials, how to find them.
Yes, you will be able to find links to all of the materials and tools in the YouTube video description. So this live stream is currently live on Facebook, Twitch, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Her channel is The Creativity Show, and we are linking that video link in the comments on Facebook and here on the Restream platform. So if you click that, it'll take you over to this live stream currently on The Creativity Show. And in the description are the affiliate links. And if you click those links and make purchases on Amazon, she makes a small commission on purchases with no added cost to you because she is an Amazon associate.
All right. So this is perspective break time. So now this, you might want to change cameras.
Okay. DB Catalyst says, love the color.
Now we make sure none got through. It didn't. And then we're going to put this under this just in case so it doesn't get through onto the floor either.
By default, this giclée polyester fabric has a plastic backing which you can remove to get a different effect. And that plastic backing will help prevent leaking. But it also affects the way that
the pigment stays more on top of the fabric instead of what I often, but not always, prefer is that I love watercolor because it moves and spreads like water, like nature, my muse. In my opinion, master designer. To hold this. So now we're going to move to summer with yellow. And so we take another little dish and we take our yellow. Where did I? Oh, I handed it to you. I get very focused when I work. And so here's this is not on yet. So trying to show the color palette. So I try not, really hard not to pollute my colors, so I mix in another little dish. So now that's what we're going to do. And Bodhi's going to take this from me, and he's going to, working together, you're going to go clean this and that brush. It doesn't take long, so just bring back clear water and clean brush, please.
Cool.
All right, so I'm getting some of this bright yellow and putting it in my little dish, my little. Okay. Now Bodhi's going to bring back clean water, which is very important, especially if you're using a light color like yellow. Any of that red or any of the, especially the Sumi ink would change the color drastically, dramatically. And so, okay, now on this one, I'm going to come down with the yellow. In the summer dry grass season. If you could put the jar right here, where I can.
It's a little wet on the outside.
It's all right. And I'm going to ask for one other favor.
I'm setting those brushes right there.
He's my sous chef for my painting recipes.
Okay. Will you place the water?
That is correct. So as I step back from these 4 seasons, I just kept, as I passed them, I would like, oh, I'd like some more color. So that's what I'm doing. And, you know, creating is, we get to please ourselves. And that's a very healthy thing in life, to do things where we're the ones we're pleasing. And hopefully other people like it, but that's not necessarily the point. The point is we enjoy the process and we please ourselves because we gave ourselves permission to enjoy the process. And color is nature's mood elevator. So there we go. Simple as that. So now we're going to move on to the next season. I'm going to move this so that I don't have an accident.
All right, should I put out some paper towels because I can see how wet that is?
Yes. It's actually going to go the other way. Sorry. Go this way. And you're.
Don't step on that paint.
I'm going to let you do that. Keep it nice and level on the way down.
Okay. Is that all right? Is that looking okay?
That's looking dandy.
Paper towels are doing a little bit.
Okay. You're going to put this down there. And you can show them while I set up the next one. Now we're going to summer. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going backwards. So we went fall, summer. Now we're doing spring. Backwards for this part of the world. Do the seasons go backwards on the other side of the planet? That somehow is very conceptually difficult for me while I'm in my go in that order. All right, would you mind, though yellow with green wouldn't be bad, I'm still going to ask you to clean those brushes. And yeah, that'll work. We've got some. All right, so now we have the greens. And so I'm going to choose the green, and sometimes it's a mix of two different greens or even a different color. But I'm going to go for this green into my little dish. And so to put our water dish close, and all right. So my instinct is to go, I need more water. Oops. All right, Henry, put one of those brushes in my water dish, maybe kind of a big one. There you go. Thank you very much. I generally, do this by myself, obviously, and most of the time we would, but we're also generally not working in front of a camera, so that's a whole lot easier to do. And we can go as slow as we want, but I kind of wanted this to be, show how fast this can happen. Opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Huh?
12:52.
All right. Well, we're going to ask you to put the greens down there and move the paper towels. And then you're going to put this one down and bring up the blue. Okay, now.
Can I set it down on the floor?
Yes, you may. And
Blue palette.
there's the blue palette. Beautiful. You can down right where the camera can see it, and I'll mix this in front of the camera. Do this in front of the camera. Put the green on the green palette. It's time. And put some water in to the dish. All right, next is, you can put that down on the floor.
Saw a little yellow coming out of this yellow one still.
Okay, so we're going to get that one and stick it in there. And
Put this down on the floor.
I'm going to get a little more blue.
You don't want me to put it on the pencil Okay.
No, I'm good. And then we're going to put the winter up here.
It's a little wet. Do you need to? And there's a few yellow drips.
The paper towels, where'd you put them? Right there. There's some more.
Yep. A little bit more closer to you. There we go.
Okay. All right. The blue season, air is the element for winter. And I'm going to, yeah, those are hopefully flat.
Paper towels.
Yeah, the surface they're on. For this drying part. Okay, thank you. So one of the things I love about watercolor is when we use water and then we touch some pigment into it, it spreads and it's got a very organic go with the flow.
Rivers of color.
So air being the element for winter, blue being the color to represent it, it's very airy. Green for spring is water and growing things. So we want it to look like it grew there. And then the earth for summer with yellow, and the red for fire for autumn. And there we go. And we then, what? I'm saying we because you guys are with me. I'm with you. We're connected, which is very happy making and why I call them virtual visits.
Joni B on YouTube said, I love your color choices too, Claire.
Thank you very, very much. All right, let's put this last one down. This is what we call perspective break time. And then you can put the cameras where they can show what we did today. And there you go. I'm going to let you do that because I might have some pigment on my fingers. And there we go. So we're letting them dry. Try to put the holes, dowels next to each other so they're kind of even. That's all right. That's fine. It is fine. All right, now while they're drawing, they have the paper towels behind them so nothing goes through, because I did take the plastic off the back because I like the way water spreads without that barrier. So now we have the blue, green, yellow, red, 4 primary colors in the 4 seasons, the 4 elements represented. I think of paintings as stories, and this series, which I almost always work in series, is the story of the seasons and the elements. And I even have directions, north, west, south, east. So, and then attributes like contemplation, renewal, repose, and transformation. So I like this series that I'm doing that's going to turn into a performance piece that will be the 4 kimonos that I've already painted and shown for the 4 seasons, that have cranes for winter, the salmon in spring, the summer dragonflies, and autumn deer. So there's animals, seasons, primary colors, attributes, primary colors, elements, all connected. And so the costumes, the 4 kimonos, the set are painted, stenciled with these elements, telling the story of the 4 seasons. And there's going to be spoken word, audio art, and choreography, and Bodhi's going to video it all. So it's called The Essence of Everything, and it was a vision I had at 18 years old, which became my degree plan for the brief time that I decided to go to college, before I realized that when they said to me, you know, you're directing your own education, you are totally capable of guiding yourself through this learning process of becoming, at the time, a dance therapist, which is how I started my career, not credentialed, but just doing it and getting hired by hospitals and schools and on. But I like to mix the arts. So here I am turning this vision that I had at 18 into this performance piece all these years later, of combining visual art, audio art, choreography, word, and because Bodhi, the movie maker, is my son, he gets to record the process into a video. So it's important to never give up on our dreams. And so that's what this represents. And I'm going to celebrate my next birthday with this performance piece, or at least take another step in that direction. It doesn't matter how long it takes us to achieve our dreams. What matters is we never give up on them and ourselves. So I think that's a wrap for today, unless there's anything else you want to share, Bo.
Fantastic work. I just want to remind people, if you want to stay connected, please check out patreon.com/Clare Cooley. That's a great way to sign up for her newsletter and to hear about all of her upcoming events and to be reminded of these weekly live streams. She goes live every Monday and Thursday at noon Central Standard Time. And you can join the Patreon for free, or you can become a paid member with no monthly commitment. But you'll get access to all of her stencil designs by doing that. And we're going to continue to put out new, cool, exclusive stuff on the Patreon, so I highly recommend it.
Great. So these live streams are Mondays and Thursdays at noon Central Standard Time. You can see them anytime after, and you can share them with friends, which I really appreciate. We are our own connectors. We haven't spent any funds or energy hiring people to do that for us. So we're learning how, and quite frankly, I'm not really good at it, but I'm embracing that I can learn it. And one of the things that I'm learning is to ask you to share with friends that could enjoy it. And that's the organic growth that I'm loving seeing happen. Thank you so much for being here. And we'll see you on Thursday at noon. Really appreciate connecting with you and all your loving support. And meanwhile,